Right. Now, before I introduce today's guest, I wanted to rattle off some figures that make this guy the perfect guest to listen to when it comes to social media. So this guy's got 83,000 followers that follow him on Facebook. He's got nearly 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. His Facebook business page has got 10,000 followers of his business. He's got a Facebook group with 14,000 members. He's got 18,000 followers on TikTok with one video amassing 1.8 million views. And he's got 3,000 followers on Instagram as well. So today I have with me Chris Days from GoMortgage, and listening back to those figures, I'm sure he'll agree, he's qualified to give us all of his tips and secrets when it comes to creating content and also managing to fit it in between doing appointments, because he's still a full-time mortgage advisor as well. So Chris, thank you very much for coming on the podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Reading those figures back, does that seem real to you after just starting to post on social media and now you're at those kind of levels?
No, no, the answer is no. I mean, when first, I basically started doing it kicking and screaming, and
how did you?
With the help of my 13-year-old son teaching me how to do a bloody TikTok. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous the reach that you can get on social media. So, and in such a short space of time, you only need a few good videos, and you do start getting a lot of movement with the followers and everything. So,
yeah. That's all. We're going to get into all of that and all the good stuff. So that was a really good introduction. That it only takes a few videos, but sometimes you do have to go into it kicking and screaming, don't you? But before we go into the social media content side of things, Chris, could you give us a background of how you got into the industry, please?
Yeah, of course. So when I left school, I was working at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
I actually got a job working in an estate agency. And without me knowing, my dad had rang the estate agents and told them that I wasn't going to be going in on Monday and starting the job, and basically told me that I'd be going to work for him. And he's always been a mortgage broker and financial advisor. So, again, without really knowing, I got into the industry sort of because my dad made me. So like 17,
you've been forced to do a lot of stuff, Chris. You've been forced by your dad and then forced by your son.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I was excited to start a job as an estate agent. So like I didn't really, at 17, 18 years old, you don't really know what mortgages and financial advice is. But my dad obviously saw an opportunity for me to get in the business. So obviously I started working for him, started as a basic mortgage admin, just doing bits of stuff around the office, and then slowly started doing like the exams. Back then I didn't do the CMAPs, I did the financial planning exams. So my path or journey was supposed to be going down the financial advice route.
Yeah.
But again, at the age I was doing sort of the financial planning exams with no real background in the industry, I did the first two exams and then I struggled with FP3 at the time, which was all like the pensions and investments. So instead of doing that, I did the bridge to do the mortgages and basically started doing the mortgages. So that was getting into the industry. So quickly like moved from doing the mortgage admin to then sort of more paraplanning, to then being a broker doing my exams, and then sort of doing more servicing of the clients, to then becoming a partner within the business. So after sort of 6 or 7 years, we had the mortgage business, we opened estate agencies, and we've had a few estate agencies over the years, and property and rental business. Up until probably like 2007, 2008 when the crash happened, and then my dad bought me out of the business and I totally came out of the industry.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and at the time, obviously the market was all over the place and it didn't really warrant two of us being there. So we had a rental agency at the time. I literally took the van that was for the rental agency. My dad bought me out of the business, which wasn't a lot, and I set up a cleaning business.
Did you?
Yeah. So then I went from obviously being a mortgage broker to being a cleaner. And I've always been good at business and like growing brands and stuff. So I set up a cleaning business, again, quickly grew the business. And after 2 or 3 years, I sold half it to somebody. And we went from being sort of domestic and just doing a bit of everything to being commercial cleaners, where we were getting contracts for like big new build houses. And then after about another 3 years, sold the business. And then probably after about 2 years of not doing an awful lot, got back into the mortgages. And that was about 6 years ago. I got back into the industry.
Oh, I never realised that. There you go. Every time I see your video now, I'll know that it's just
I was a cleaner.
So, yeah, but that's it. You've created a business. You say you love building up businesses, and it is so interesting because a lot of the people that listen to this will be building their businesses.
Yeah.
What would you say, aside from mortgages, in terms of business? What's the biggest tip you would probably give somebody if they're starting a business? How do they build their brand? How do they get customers? What's your biggest tip?
I think the big thing is for anything is consistency with everything that we do. So and don't expect results straight away. If you're going to expect results, you're going to be very, very disappointed because yeah, you might be really lucky. You might do a video that goes viral and do really well straight away. The majority of people are going to do hundreds and hundreds of videos, get very little traction, and see no growth for probably sort of 12, 18 months. And then all of a sudden something will happen and it'll kick on. But you've got to be consistent. When we were doing the videos to begin with, I was doing 3 to 6 videos a day and getting really average results. Then all of a sudden, I think on Facebook, I've got a few videos now which have got like 4 or 5 million views. And I've probably got 5 or 6 videos that have done really well. And those are the videos which catapulted. And timing as well. So at the time, I'm not very good at being outside the business. I get stuck in the business. So again, I know we'll go off in a tangent here, but you've got to do other things. So I was part of a group where it was all about social media. And at the time, it was when Facebook was trying to compete with TikTok Reels. So I just started posting about 10 videos a day onto Facebook Reels. And literally within 2 weeks, I'd gone from nothing to 86,000 followers, or maybe not that many, maybe 70,000. But it was timing. But I'd already been doing the videos on TikTok for probably a year before that. So I had a good backbook of videos, and we were just hammering the videos on Facebook, which kicked off. So like now with all the issues that with TikTok, there might be another platform that comes out. You've got to be getting in there and being consistent, because then one day it will kick on and you will start getting the growth. But you've got to be doing everything.
How did you find, before we get into the nitty gritty of it, how did you find, you said you posted your videos from TikTok onto Facebook Reels.
Yeah.
Did you get rid of the watermark, or did you just post them with the TikTok watermark on there?
Yeah, so to begin with, because I was a bit naive and didn't really understand what I was doing, I was just posting them with the watermark. And then we obviously as time's gone on, we've understood that Facebook doesn't like it if you're posting from TikTok and it's got TikTok all over it. So we download the videos and save the videos now with no watermark, so we can use it across all the platforms. So again, our videos that we film in TikTok, we post to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts.
Love it.
So yeah, we're repurposing the content all the time.
And that's what I'd say to people listening is, if you don't know what's happening with TikTok, if you download a video, it will put a TikTok watermark on there to say you've got it from TikTok. If you then upload it to Facebook or Instagram, Facebook and Instagram know that it's got a watermark on it and will reduce the reach of that post. So always try and post it without that. But exactly what Chris is saying here, he doesn't just create a video for TikTok. He creates a video, then posts it to all his channels. So again, he's doing something clever where he's not having to record 4 separate videos. Record one, upload it to everywhere. But before we get into a bit more social media, I want to get an understanding of what does your normal week look like at the moment in terms of doing appointments, creating content, editing, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, so obviously we're really, really busy anyway. So I basically split my diary up, which I've only probably started doing over the last 6 months, and having segments for doing things. So I like to go, I've got 2 kids, one's 11, nearly 12, one's nearly 15, and they do an awful lot of stuff outside of school. So my evenings are spent, every evening apart from possibly a Thursday, I spent doing stuff with the kids. So that limits my time massively. So I like to go to the gym in the morning. So again, from like 6 till 7:30, I'll be at the gym. Then as soon as I get in the office, my time is then spent probably doing 3 to 4 videos on TikTok for my shorts. Then I try and go live at 8:30 till 9. And this week, I've not done this for a few weeks, but I've been speaking to Joy today, and I need to get back into this. But by doing that, I know that Joy's got content then for the week. The lives are massive for followers. So if you're just posting videos and you're just posting content, you need to be doing everything. So if you've got a checklist of all the different things you can do, the platforms like to see you doing all the things, rather if you're just posting reels and you're not interacting on the platforms, whatever it is, and you're not posting any other content or stories or whatever it is, you need to be doing everything, because then it's going to push you more. So again, the lives are massive. If we do a TikTok live for half an hour to an hour, we might gain 40 or 50 followers just from doing that live.
Really,
not only that, we'll generate leads. I'll come off a live and I'll have 2 or 3 leads in the inbox straight away. So,
and that's so if you don't know what TikTok live is, essentially it's a live video in person where Chris is sat there going, look, I'm here to answer anybody's questions. Do you have a topic on those lives that you go into it with, or is it just ad hoc?
No, it's just, we have a banner which is just I'm a mortgage advisor, ask me any questions mortgage related, and then throughout the live I'm just saying, if you've got any questions, fire them over, I'll get them answered for you. So anyone that is on the live can come on and ask a mortgage question, anything that they're not sure about, and get not mortgage advice, because you're not going to give advice on a live, but we're just answering questions. So anything that people are concerned about, or if they want to know things like income multiple, anything at all, we can have a bit of a conversation on there.
Love it. That's and what Chris is saying there, it's not just about, you can't, what I call it, you can't post and ghost. You can't just drop a post and disappear. You need to be using the lives. You need to be engaging with people, and it will pay in dividends. But when did you start posting to social media, Chris? How long ago did you start?
So you're going to laugh again at this. So another big TikToker who works for my dad. So a chap called Michael Isherwood, who's massive on TikTok. He's probably got 130,000 followers just on TikTok. He'd been doing it about a year, and my dad, again, kept saying, you need to be getting on social media. You need to be getting on TikTok. And I was like, I swear a lot. I'm not going to swear. I promise I'm not going to swear today. But I was like, there's no chance I can do that. I hate the sound of my own voice. I had no confidence at all. And just the thought of doing anything like that, I was like, I'm never going to do it. And then after about 11 or 12 months, I was like, right, I need to start doing this. So that's when I got my 13-year-old at the time to show me how to do a TikTok video. He edited it all for me. We started doing it. And it was actually, we did one that my wife recorded. And being a typical woman, the one that she did was like laughing at a client. So she hated it, but it went semi-viral straight away. And it was getting, the traction was getting massive, but she deleted it because she didn't like the fact that people were putting comments. Whereas I'm thick-skinned and I love anything in the comments. Obviously, it's helping the algorithm, and anything is good. Where she didn't. But quickly we started learning then, like that kind of thing. Don't delete a video. Don't delete comments. Just respond to them. And obviously, it's going to push the activity, which is good. But yeah, so it was my dad and my son again who pushed me into doing it. Yeah.
And how long ago was that from today? So we're recording this in Feb of 2025. When did you start posting to the likes of TikTok, Facebook, Instagram?
I'd say it's probably a good 2.5, maybe 3 years ago now.
Wow. And you were doing, right, now I'm in, and it sounds like you've got this kind of personality, like with your business before and the cleaning business and the estate agency. I'm going all in, and you were uploading 3 to 6 videos per day.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
when I got told
incredible.
about the Facebook Reels, we were doing maybe 10 videos a day. But
that was all pre-content.
Yeah, we'd already had maybe 250, 300 videos on TikTok. So I literally paid someone on Fiverr to just download all my videos. They did that within like a couple of days. And then we had 250 videos to repurpose for Facebook. So we still carried on recording all the ones in TikTok. So the reason I use TikTok is just because it's so much easier to record a video and edit it in TikTok. But then we had a folder full of 200 odd videos to literally hammer Facebook with, which is what we did, and gained absolute shed load of followers really, really quickly. Not saying that everyone's going to do that, but
it's obviously the Facebook Reel train has kind of left the station now. It's still going, but the people that were on it first, like yourselves, they've generated all this content from, all these followers from it. But the reason I wanted to really drive on that point that you were doing nearly 10 videos a day is I personally don't think there's a thing as too much content.
No.
A lot of people say you shouldn't do more than 5 stories a day. You shouldn't post them more than once a day. I think absolute rubbish, because if you put out more content, there's a higher chance of your brand being seen. If that's somebody in the village or if it's a video going viral, the more content that you put out, the more likely you are to be seen by somebody.
The easiest way
And
to
Chris
explain
is
it
the
is
perfect example.
yeah, and if you go on Facebook and you scroll in and you refresh, it refreshes so quickly. 10 minutes later, if you go on and you try and find a post that you've been looking for or looked at, you can never refine that post. So if you're posting, there's different people going to be on different platforms at different times of the day. The more content that you put out there, like you say, the more chance you've got of someone seeing it and being aware of you.
And this is what a lot of people talk about. Like you say, people are on different channels, different times of the day. One of the biggest questions we get asked, and you probably have it as well, Chris, from other people, is what's the best time to post?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter as much as it used to, because you might see a post today, especially with the likes of TikTok and these video platforms, that was posted 2 weeks ago. And it doesn't matter if it was posted at 8 a.m. or 6 p.m. that day, you're seeing it 2 weeks later. And Facebook and Instagram are doing the same thing now, where they're putting older content in front of people.
Yeah, I mean, we've got like 800, 900 videos on maybe Facebook and YouTube now. And you're constantly getting comments on videos that were like a year, 18 months old. And it's the more content that you've got out there, someone is going to see a video. So the more chance you've got of getting a potential client. If you've got 50 videos or 800 videos, you've just got a lot more chance of getting seen.
Exactly. And when somebody comes to, if I was Smith's Mortgages and you were GoMortgage, and they looked at my page and I had 50 videos, they were informative, there were some really good ones on there, or I went to your page and in the same time we've been in business, you had 500, I'd probably go to GoMortgage because they've spent more time creating content. There's more content on there. They're going to have more followers because they've done more videos. It's just it's a trust thing. They're not going to look at GoMortgage uploaded 10 a day. They're just going to see 500 videos. And that's the end goal, to have a library of content, isn't it?
Yeah, and activity breeds activity. And the amount of times that we get a lead or an inquiry come through, and we always ask where, obviously on our system, we like to know where all these come from so we can monitor it. Where have you heard from us? Our friends referred me. Who's your friend? Oh, they've seen you on social media. A lot of the time, it's not even a client. It's just somebody who's seen the videos on social media.
God,
So,
that's mad, isn't it? To think that you've not even actually have to give a service and people are still buying into you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible. So remember, let me just read these figures out again. 6,000 on YouTube, 10,000 on Facebook, 83,000 followers, actual profile on Facebook, 18,000 followers on TikTok. All of these tips of posting lots of content is exactly what you guys need to be doing. So when it comes to the actual content, Chris, where do you get your ideas from?
So when I first started out, I'll be totally honest, I just found somebody in America who was doing exactly the same thing, and I copied it. So I was watching a Mr. Beast video the other day, and he said, they were talking about like copying content, and it's like not copy and paste, it's copy with taste or something like that. So basically, you're copying it, but you're just making it better. So in the early days, because I didn't really know what I was doing, I was taking ideas that other people had done and just putting my spin on it. But then now I'll be scrolling through, obviously TikTok, Facebook, and even just reels that are not related to mortgages in the slightest. I'll see like a video or a clip or a meme and think, oh, bloody hell, I could relate that to this. And then it's just such an easy video because there's so many. It's
already ready for you.
Yeah, there's so many clients, there's so many scenarios, and there's so many problems with what we do as a job. It's easy to relate sounds and memes and videos and captions to whatever it is that you've done that day. So that's where a lot of the content just comes from, scrolling and even other people's content and just putting a twist on it. So, and then obviously sometimes there will be some original stuff as well. It's just a mixture of like, again, you won't just have one lead source because obviously if that stops. So again, with like the content, it's having different areas where you're getting inspiration from.
Love that. And that's what Chris is talking about there. Is something that's I'm quite a fan of, is like consciously scrolling. So Chris probably doesn't scroll through cat videos, funny videos. You know what I mean? Chris is probably scrolling through industry stuff and then he goes, oh, I like that. I'll keep that on board for my next idea. So even when you've got your downtime, you're still thinking about how you can drive your business forward with the right type of content. So if you do see something on Instagram, if you're listening, save it, keep it in a folder somewhere, and then go and create a video around it.
Exactly
So,
the same. I'll be
yeah,
scrolling. I'll just screenshot the video so then I can refer
yeah,
back and I can go and look. So,
yeah, that's what you want to do. Keep like a library. So then, when it comes to it, Chris, on a Tuesday, if he sits down at the desk, goes 10 o'clock, he doesn't have to think, oh, what am I posting today? He's got, right, I've got a list of 20 videos I know I'm going to post. So it reduces the thinking time and the shooting time. So how do you manage your diary creating content versus like appointments and things? You touched on it earlier, but do you have set blocks throughout the week for content?
Yeah. So like typically between sort of 7:45 and 8:30 in the morning is when I will do the content. So nobody else is in the office. I can get my setup, all the lights and everything sorted. I'm not going to get disturbed. And usually I'll just scroll for a little bit, start getting a bit of inspiration. Then I'll just literally record. Sometimes I might record 2 videos. Sometimes I might record 8 videos. Just depends how quick that inspiration comes for ideas.
Yeah.
I try and do that every single day, so that if I'm doing 2 or 3 videos a day, there's fresh content for Joy, and you can come on to Joy later. Yeah. But then obviously we've got our back book of content anyway, so we've got 800 videos in our back book of content, which get rechurned throughout the year anyway. So that's typically how I will do my content. And then diary-wise, I block my diary out for anything that's not work-related so that nobody can book in. We have a calendar system which goes out on all the emails, and it's on the website so people can book in themselves anyway. And then, I tend to just try and speak to as many people during the day as I can and limit the appointments to really Thursdays. It's like the only day I really do appointments anymore.
Right. Okay. So you put them all into like block your time into like tasks that you want to do.
Yeah. Just so that things get done. Because what I was finding is if I didn't have set time, I'd just go off at a tangent and the day just goes nowhere.
Yeah, you don't get anywhere. So you've talked about how you shoot the content, how you manage your diary. And before we came on the podcast, and I know if Joy's listening to this, Joy is your marketing manager, and you've said that having her on board is one of the biggest things that you've done. Like, it really drives things forward. How do you and Joy work together? What does she do with the videos? How does it work?
Yeah, so I made a conscious effort last year. I always said that I wanted a marketing team because I just see moving forward. I think you said before, like, where your business comes from, but a lot of it is now social media. So for me, it made sense to invest in the marketing side of things. So back end of last year, Joy came on board. And she works 3 hours a day, and her job is literally just to do social media. So she plans basically the schedule. So all the content that we've got, whether it's reels, whether it's just normal posts, informative posts, she schedules all that. So we'll schedule maybe up to 3 months in advance. She'll have everything scheduled maybe 3 months now into the future for every platform. So we know that if we don't do anything anymore from today, we've got 3 months worth of content going out on social media. And then I've work-wise, I put a lot of trust in Joy, and I've just said, like, if she spends a day or an hour just watching YouTube videos on content and what the algorithms want and what the content needs, I know she obviously speaks to people like yourself from time to time. That is what I want. I want to be able to grow. And obviously I need to be able to trust the people that are working with me, that they're like the experts in that. I'm not an expert in social media. I'll film the content and then it's up to them to go and do everything. She also responds to all like the comments and just basically frees me up time to be able to do all the other things that I need to be doing. So just by taking that massive chunk of time away that I would be responding or scheduling or whatever it is, it's just a massive weight lifted off my shoulders and time saving. It's ridiculous.
There's going to be people listening to this going, I need a Joy in my life. So where do people find a Joy, somebody that will be in the social media? How did you find Joy?
So Joy is actually the sister-in-law of one of my brokers. So we've got 4 other brokers with me. So there's 5 with me. So there's 5 of us all together. We've obviously got an admin team, and then Joy's come on board to do the social media. And Joy's been with me now, I think, over a year.
Yeah, back end of 2023. Do you mean she
Yeah,
started with you? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, class. And that
which has
is
gone well.
so. Joy sounds great because you can just send the content to them. And what I would say, if you're looking for a video editor, social media, that type of thing, look at like a VA or something to start with, just to take that video content off you. Because if you're going to be doing 3 videos every single day, it would be better to have somebody in house. Yes, of course it would. But if you're not at that point, yeah, maybe look at a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
And then we're going to finish on the social media section, because we've still got the strategy question, which I really want to hear the answer to. You've got a video that nearly reached 2 million people. How did that topic come about? What did you do differently, if anything, that got all those views, Chris?
I think it's the activity that off the back of, so all the videos that do really well, for starters, I'll record a video that I think, right, this is going to do really, really well, and it'll just flop and do nothing. And then I'll have a video which has got loads of spelling mistakes, it's grainy, it doesn't look very good, and it'll do really, really well. So what we found is a lot of the videos that do really well are the ones that, like one that we've done recently, where different salaries in the UK or different sort of brackets of hierarchy with it, like, low class, middle class, higher class, and like the salaries. Ones where people are going to start arguing on your feeds are the ones which push on a lot more. So I think they're like the red flag. I think it was like a red flag video that did really well on TikTok, or it might have been on Facebook, the one with the millions of views. It's things like where people aren't sure. So like you can get a mortgage with a debt management plan or a CCJ. Ones like that where people maybe weren't so aware that you could do a certain thing are the ones where they're going to kick on a lot more.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can get a mortgage with a CCJ, and then somebody jumps in the comments and goes, no, you can't. I couldn't get one. And then someone else goes, no, I got one. And then they're pushing it for you. So please, if you are getting comments on your videos, guys that are listening, every comment is a positive. It could be taking the pee out of you, but it's still a comment. It's still engagement. So don't delete it. Like Chris said, respond to it. Even if I like responding with double positivity on something negative, and almost sometimes make people feel a bit silly to think, like, why have you posted that? It's a video on the internet, mate. Chill out.
But sometimes you can get people arguing with each other, and they'll end up being like 100 comments with just people arguing between themselves. But it's fantastic because that's all that activity that's happening on your video is just pushing it out to more people. So
opinions work on social media, don't they?
Yeah, and being out there saying things that people wouldn't say is good because it starts the activity going.
Starts the conversation.
Yeah.
Mate, I could talk about this for hours, but I know the guys that are listening, I try and keep them around about half an hour, these podcasts, but we could go on for ages about social media. But before we get into the strategy question, which I know a lot of people love to hear on the podcast, we like to donate £10 to a charity of your choice to say thank you for coming on. So which charity did you want us to make the donation to, Chris?
So we're going to do the Trinity Hospice that is local to where we are.
Okay, perfect. We will make that donation for you. Fab. So, strategy question. We're going to pretend that you've moved to the north of Scotland. You've got a laptop, a mobile phone, and an internet connection. What would you do to start generating new mortgage business?
To be honest, I wouldn't do an awful lot different. If you just said I didn't have a mobile phone or if I didn't have a laptop, that'd be a lot harder. But for me, I could be anywhere in the world and do what I do. So maybe if my laptop dropped and I didn't have my laptop and I didn't have my phone, for starters, I would just go out and speak to people. Like the easiest way, I pick up leads in the sauna, in the gym, in the change room at the gym. A great one, I was in the gym, literally getting changed, just had a shower, had hardly anything on. And a guy just said, "Oh, are you the mortgage broker?" "Yes, I am." And there was 4 of us in the changing rooms. I ended up giving my mobile number to all 3 of the people I was getting changed with just by speaking and having a conversation about mortgages. The other person overheard, they needed a mortgage. The other person overheard, needed a mortgage. And I've actually done class. 2 of their mortgages now. But just speaking to people. So if I was like in the middle of nowhere, just literally going out, speaking to local businesses. I think being involved in like your local community is massive. Getting people aware of who you are. And like this job is all about speaking to people. If you can speak and have conversations, it's not difficult. Then if you get your laptop and your phone and you start doing content, it's so easy to get out in front of millions and hundreds of thousands of people just by doing a live or doing some posts. It's easy having a phone and a laptop. It's hard if you're in the middle of nowhere. But just old school, speaking to people, making contacts. The more people you speak to, the more business you're going to write. It's not hard. It's just a numbers game. You've got to speak to lots of different people, and then bit by bit, once you become established, you'll start picking up leads and clients, and you won't even realize where they're coming from. It just snowballs. After a certain amount of time, it's ridiculous where all the leads come from. There's not a day goes by where my phone, I'll get people WhatsApping me, emailing me, ringing me, blah, blah, blah's passing me a number. And I don't even realize where the leads come from now.
I think the word that it boils down to is visibility, like being visible in the gym, in the local pub, on social media, on a live. You're just talking about being as visible as possible, like talking to people, getting yourself out there.
Just one more, and I'm going off a tangent again, sorry.
No, not at all.
In October, we went to Turkey on holiday, and I'd been in my seat for 3.5 hours, needed the toilet, got up to go to the toilet on the plane. I was literally stood in the aisle, waiting to go to the toilet, and this guy kept staring at me. And it's like an awkward stare. And it's like, I kept looking, but like double checking, and he was like staring. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Hey, can I ask you a really, really silly question?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can. Are you the mortgage broker?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, you've just done my mortgage for me."
Oh, really?
And he didn't even recognize me. He's like, "Hey, I'm Michael, and you've just done my mortgage." I was like, "Oh my God." And that was on the plane going to Turkey. And a similar thing happened.
I love it.
A similar thing happened in Disneyland in America. I was literally queuing for an ice cream in America, and someone came up to me and said exactly the same thing. So visibility is massive.
And that's just from you being on social media and growing your brand, your personal brand yourself, because you could sit behind the desk and just push GoMortgage, couldn't you? You could just push that, but you actually get your face there. I'll tell you what would be really cool that I would absolutely love to see, and this is selfishly, is to see how you as Chris Days grows a mortgage business. Because all of your content is great because it's for the consumer and it's for generating leads, but it'd be really cool to see how you liaise with Joy, how you liaise with your brokers. You've talking about your new office. Do you know what I mean? Talking about that sort of things. And I know you've only got so many hours in the day, but that would be really cool to document the growth of GoMortgage. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I mean,
that's the next thing.
I've been doing videos of like the refurb and like the new office, so maybe like extending that into like a behind the scenes of GoMortgage, maybe. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there'd be loads of people listening to this that would follow that and just show. I mean, there's some great mortgage brokers out there that do it as well. I think one that jumps to mind is the Mortgage Mom, Sarah Tucker, I think it is, and she showed the journey of building the company. I find it really interesting, and I know a lot of other people would as well. But Chris, before I take up any more of your time, because I know you've got some social media videos to go and record, mate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best channels that you're spending most of your time on at the minute?
Facebook and YouTube a lot of the time at the minute. Yeah, so
those are the two that you're. Listen to that, guys. He says Facebook is the place where he's spending a lot of his time at the moment. A lot of people are talking about Instagram and TikTok, but somebody that's got all these followers is on Facebook, and YouTube is an area I haven't spent a lot of time on, so I can't really pass an opinion on it. But I know Facebook is massive at the minute. People disregard it sometimes, don't they? But it's a massive channel still.
Well, just our group on Facebook, we've got a group with 14,000 people in, which is just a mortgage group. And the leads that generates on a daily basis is ridiculous. And it's just so easy.
Might have to get you back on to do a specialist on Facebook groups, because again, there was a massive boom of it in COVID times with the Facebook groups, wasn't there? But if you can set one up today that grows in your local area, there's no reason why in a couple of years you can't have like 2,000 prospective clients in there.
I've only grown that over the last 12 months and got it to 14,000. And
I take back everything I've just said then and listen to Chris.
I'm lucky because like we post a link on all our videos. So that's like a tip for you. So like all our videos, there's a link to our Facebook group. So anyone watching a video can click straight into our Facebook group. So that grows easily 20 or 30 people a day minimum are getting added to our Facebook group every single day. And it's just questions and leads that generates is honestly ridiculous.
I think we do a special episode. If you're happy to come back on, Chris, I'd love to pick your brains about that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I hope you listeners have enjoyed this. I would rewind this episode. Shows how old I am. Like remember the pencil in the cassettes before you put it back in. Go and rewind the episode. Yeah. And go and listen to all of the tips that Chris has given. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it, mate.
No, thanks for having me, mate.
Cheers.